Did you know that when parents are asked what they would do if they had 1 extra hour every day, most parents say they would use it for sleep? Are you exhausted trying to balance kids, work, and play? Do you want more purpose and less monotony in your life? Do you get overly irritated, frustrated, and angry with your children? If you've answered yes to some of these questions, then I'm glad you're here. I know how busy you are, and I'm not here to take your time. I'm here to help you take it back. Close your windows, open your mind, and let's kick some ass. Hey everybody, and welcome back to Kick-Ass Dad, Passionate Parenting in a Volatile World. And I am just blown away by my guest today. Kute Blackson is with us. He is an utterly unique visionary in the world of human potential. Unlike those who just promise to help you get what you want, Kute's life's work instead reveals to people what they have to give by liberating who they are most truly and deeply, the focus being freedom. Kute is world-renowned for creating revolutionary results. He is creating a world shift in consciousness and is widely known as a transformational facilitator, speaker, and leader. Today, the venue for his message may be a one-on-one, a vast stadium setting, experiential seminars, and transformational travel intensives all over the world. Kute has an energy that is so powerful and complete, one cannot leave his presence without a recollection and feeling of what love truly is. True love, who they have been all along. His transformative and healing energy is sought out worldwide. Kute is a bold voice for a new generation. Kute, how you doing, my friend?
Hey, how are you? It's great to be here.
Hey,
Thanks for the beautiful introduction. I feel very welcome.
Yeah, absolutely. I've been following you on Facebook. I actually first heard about you through David Wood, and I've just
Nice.
I've just kind of had my eye on you, and you know what you bring to the table, and the power of your voice and the passion from your heart is transformational, and it has certainly touched me in my life and what I'm working on here. So thank you for that, and I'd love to kind of just get your story, man. Where you come from, what brought you to the point where you are today, and how you're making an impact in the world.
Sure. Well, my story, when I'm asked about my story, I'm not sure quite where to start because it doesn't feel like there was like a beginning of the story. You know, my first memories as a young boy was really two things. I remember growing up always feeling a sense of destiny, a sense of calling, a sense that I was here to make a difference in the lives of many people. And I always felt this calling to be of service, this sense that my life wasn't really my life. So I felt this thing in my soul as a 5-year-old kid, 6-year-old kid. I felt this undeniable, palpable desire to serve and to help people. And the other thing was, I grew up literally seeing blind people see, deaf people hear, standing up sick people standing up out of wheelchairs. And one of my first memories was seeing a crippled woman crawling on the floor in Ghana, West Africa, and I must have been 7 or 8, and she picked up the sand, a man walked on, wiped it on her face and stood up. So I grew up with this radical sense that anything was possible, that there were no limits, and this man was my father, so he had 200-300 churches in West Africa, one in London, and I grew up in this environment that was just through osmosis, just the whole universe was alive and open to me at that time. And so my entire life was really a quest. I remember feeling even 7, 8 years old, asking the questions of, who are we? Why am I here? What's the purpose of my life? What is true happiness? I'd look around and go, is life just to wake up, go to sleep, go to school, go to work, have a few vacations, die, and that's it? Or surely there must be a deeper purpose. And why are some people happy, even though they have every reason not to be? And why are some people not happy, even they have every reason to be happy? So I was always a curious kid. So my quest started very early. And when I was age 8, I started speaking in front of my father's churches for the first time. And that was a really deep and profound experience. Age 14, I was ordained into his ministry and given the mandate to take over his churches and sort of pronounce the successor to his organization. And that was a big deal at the time. But, I never felt that was truly my destiny, that was truly my alignment. And I think we all have either a way of thinking or it was as though my life was set out for me. And I could see my life that if I was going to follow the path that was set out for me, I might be happy, it might be nice, but I could feel a part of me dying. I could feel that it wasn't truly what my soul was seeking to express, how my soul was seeking to express. So through much meditation and prayer in my teens, I turned 17 and had to really have a hard conversation, with my father. And it was very difficult because it was facing a deep fear of losing that relationship. And I think often we feel a deeper call in our hearts. We feel a calling moving us in a certain direction, but we're afraid. We're afraid of what that will mean, the end of a relationship, the end of friendship, the survival, financial fears. We're afraid of, wow, if I really follow what I'm really guided to follow, the unknown, what will happen? So often we either don't tell the truth to ourselves, we compromise, we fake it, we suppress it, we deny it, we distract ourselves, everything to not feel the deepest calling of what life is seeking to express. And perhaps I didn't have anything to lose, or I was young enough and naive enough to go, okay, this is what I feel. And it was still scary because, my father was an important figure in my life. And even though we weren't very close, he was this man I wanted validation, and love, and approval from. And so I had this hard conversation with him at a very young age, and told him I would not be taking over. And it was like a death. It was literally like killing my father symbolically. It was literally like cutting that umbilical cord and letting him down, disappointing him, but really freeing myself and in the process of becoming a man and becoming my own man. And it was a true rite of passage and initiation that had to happen. And we didn't speak for, I don't know, a year, 2 years, it was a while. And it was tough. It was challenging, a lot of sadness. But I knew despite the consequence, that if I followed his path, if I followed the path that was set out by him for me, that I might have his validation, his love, but I wouldn't have a part of myself. I knew if I followed what he wanted, I would die. There would be a part of me that would die. And it was as though my soul wouldn't allow that. And I'm glad I followed it, because in that moment, I'm not saying it was easy. Sometimes following the path of the heart, the path of spirit, the path of the soul, is not an easy path. Sometimes it's easier just to avoid, to deny, to get distracted, to just get swept up in life and just be unconscious. We often say, I wish I just, didn't know. Ignorance is bliss. On one level, it might seem that way, but it takes courage to be really alive. It takes courage to really be who we truly are. And I feel that's the path for why we're born. That's the path for why we incarnate, is to remember who we are. And I won a green card in the lottery. Cut a long story short, I won a green card in the lottery. I was like, God, how do I feel called to go to America. I want to find mentors and teachers and all the people I've read about as a kid, from the famous authors to the Eastern mystics in India. I want to find these people and learn from them. And they all seem to live in Los Angeles, California, Southern California, San Diego, Northern California. And I wanted to come and find them and learn from some of them and be in the environment where human potential and consciousness was happening. So decided to come to America, but had no support from my father, at least, and didn't come from a rich background, chose not to go to university, and won a green card in the lottery. And that was in the green card lottery. The government gives away green cards every year, at least at that time. And in that moment, I knew that there was a force that was at work in my life. I knew, whether we're conscious of it or not, there is always a force that's at work in our lives. We're just not always aware of it, And I knew in that moment, it was like a confirmation for me as a young man that there is a force that is truly guiding my life. And if I trust it, and I really trust it, it will perfectly unfold each step of the way. And I won this green card, and it was like a miracle. And that's what really enabled me to come to America. 2 suitcases, a dream, 1 suitcase full of books, the other suitcase full of clothes, $1,400 in my pocket, a dream, and coming to Los Angeles. And it was a real journey. Went and found teachers and mentors and went through an amazing process. And, cut a long story short, fast forward, over a decade later, here I am.
That's a beautiful story, Kute. And one of the things that strikes me about it is you had this following of your soul, this passion inside of you that spoke to you. And it was more important for you to engage that than anything else in your life. It was as if you had no choice but to go after your dream, go after your passion. And so many people in life, they have that little voice, right? And they can hear it. It's inside of them, but they're afraid to jump into that. And I think what you're saying is that as you follow that voice, it gets louder and louder, and then you experience the validation in the world, and that those forces begin to come together. Is that kind of your journey?
Yeah, when I feel each of us have a knowing. I feel that there's a deep part of us that knows everything. There's a part of us that knows everything because we are everything. And if we're willing to tune in enough and listen quietly enough, and sometimes we'll listen, but we won't be honest about what we're hearing because we don't want to hear it. We say, God, please give me guidance, give me guidance. So we hear this guidance that says, go do this. No, not that, no, anything but that. But that's the very thing. It's like, why are we asking for guidance? It's like, well, okay, I'll do this, and this, but not that. Or I surrender, but not this, and these 14 things, but I surrender, And there's a part of us that knows. And what I found coaching people over the last 12, 13, 14 years is there is a wisdom in us that knows, that it knows. And when the right space is created, often people say, I knew that. Or they'll tell you, here's what I know. Oh, no. So I think the real courageous path is to really listen and honor that knowing and trust that knowing and act on that knowing. Because I believe that, when we don't, we go into the mind and we start questioning, should I turn left? Should I take this job? Should I not take this job? Is she the one right for me? What should I do? What should I do? And we go into the mind, and, trying to make a decision from the mind and live from the mind is an endless maze. It's an endless maze of conditioning, of fear, of questioning, of up and down. But living from the soul there's an intelligence of life. My father would often say, Kute, why are you worrying? Why are you stressing? Because he said, did you bring yourself into this world? And I'm like, what do you mean, did I bring myself into this world? I just ended up here. He goes, exactly. There's something that brought you into this existence. I said, yes. So he would say, if that something brought you into existence and you didn't need to bring yourself here, surely that same force knows how to fulfill, every element and every step of your life and of your destiny. So why are you worrying? So I believe that the soul knows, and if we're feeling an impulse, if we're feeling a drive, if we're feeling moved to go in a certain direction, follow a purpose, move, walk in a certain path, it's because it's arising from a deeper part of us. And the myth is we need to know exactly where we're going. We need to know how it's going to look, where we're going, the next steps. We don't. I believe that we just need to go in the direction of the soul, and it has an intelligence, and what needs to be revealed to us at the exact time of our lives will be revealed to us with as much wisdom and as much clarity as we need to know in this moment. And sometimes we don't need to know. So I always say that, the need to know is a myth and a limitation. And to the degree you can rest in the not knowing, to the degree you can become comfortable in not knowing, is to the direct proportion and the degree to which you'll experience freedom. And the joke is, even though we think we know, we have all our strategies, our goals, everything mapped out, our 75-year plan for life, we think we know. And, we think we have our shit together, but really, none of us really know anything. That's what I found. It's like, we don't have a clue about anything really, and for me, it's a letting go of control. Yeah, okay, we know, we do the best we can, but really, we don't know. Everything could just flip upside down tomorrow. Some of the best things in life, meeting, your soulmate, meeting, the person you work with, a business partner situation. Some of these things we couldn't have even imagined or planned or even fathomed. So I believe that there's an intelligence of life that's here before us, here functioning us now, will be here way after this life form is gone, that the more we can open to that and allow that to live through us, and manifest through us, the more we will tap into a zone of miracles, of magic, of possibilities. It's the zone that the great people like Jesus, Mother Teresa, Gandhi, Martin Luther King, the great saints, they tapped into a zone because they were out of the way, and life was what was living through them. And, you know, in that zone, things happened because they were connected with everything and everyone in that place. You know, 2 plus 2 didn't equal 4 anymore. They were tapped into 2 plus 2 equaled whatever it needed to equal for the fulfillment of the soul, because the soul encoded in the soul is everything. So I feel as though when we're able to live beyond the mind, then we're truly free, versus limited into a construct of conditioned responses, because the mind is conditioned from our programming, from our past, from our parents, from what's possible. But the soul is beyond conditioning. It's timeless. You know, it's really timeless. So, you know, I say trust the soul. You want to trust the mind, or you want to trust the soul? You want to trust your true beingness? You choose, you know?
Right. That's beautiful. I've found that, you know, life is constantly manifesting. It's our thoughts, it's our words, it's our actions that create, that bring forth the things in our lives. And, you know, a lot of people have watched things like The Secret and things like that, and they think that the most important thing is to create your, you know, map out your life every which way. Look, you know, define the car you want, define the house you want, define this, that, and the other. And those are all great things, and you can have those, you can attract those towards yourself in your life, and I think that's valid. But what you're saying is so much more validating to the soul, because what it's actually doing is it's giving us an opportunity to understand. It's like going from magic to miracles, right?
Yeah.
So we have the abilities, we have the skills, we have this unconscious mind. If you're living in that state, then you have this kind of manifestation mind, and then you have the miracle mind. And I think that's where you're coming from, and that's just such a powerful vision for me. And I love that. I love that you're bringing that out.
You see, with the limitation of the mind, and, you know, I grew up reading visualization and, you know, all of that manifestation. It's great, you know, it's a certain level. But the mind, but that's still a level of mind. And level of mind is in a realm of time and space and conditioning. I have to have this car. I have to see. What I found is the more you can uncondition yourself through, you know, just releasing the layers of conditioning. You know, we're born free. Okay, we're born free as children, then we get conditioned with layers of society and conditioning. We learn all sorts of ways to disconnect, to shut down, to avoid pain, to not get hurt. We develop all these layers to get love, be approved, survive, and function. So we develop all these layers of conditioning, and then we think, well, this is just who I am. And based on that conditioning, you know, we live life in reaction, in response, trying to get love, be approved, fit in, and we think this is who I am. And then based on that conditioned pattern, we are making decisions, deciding goals, trying to manifest on a poster board, trying to figure out our life based on this conditioned version of ourselves that we think is who we are. So we might get what we think we want based on who we think we are, but we're not necessarily in that conditioned, you know, persona really who we really are. So what we're going to manifest is a limited version of who we are. And many times we do manifest even great wealth, great abundance, you know, certain things. But often what I found is when from that conditioned place, you might manifest that, there's still a sense of emptiness. There's still a sense of, why am I not fulfilled? I have this money, but that's not really what I wanted. I have this thing, this house, but that's not really what I wanted. So I believe when you peel away those layers and you tap into a deeper dimension of your soul, joy, harmony, beingness, then you start feeling into what is it that actually wants to express through me? How is life itself seeking to manifest and express? And then from that place, I've found that it's not like things don't manifest. Everything is manifesting all day long, naturally, spontaneously on its own. You know, look at life. The trees are manifesting. The sun is manifesting. Everything's manifesting, you know, without us. But the egoic mind, this separate thing, wants to think like it's in control of this whole universe, you know, and it's not. You know, life is what's unfolding. But I found that the more free you get, the more you tap into that deeper level of your being, then you resonate at a certain vibration, you resonate at a certain frequency. And I found that then from that place, you don't even attract things to you anymore, because there's no separation between you and that thing. It's almost like you manifest things through you and from you, from your own being. So what then shows up in your life is really, in a sense, not something you made happen, but something that showed up in a how shall I say, mirror manifestation to reflect that state of your own consciousness. So then if it's a car, you could say then the car that manifests is a reflection of your unconsciousness in that moment. If it's a relationship, then it manifested as a spontaneous reflection of your own consciousness just by you being, not because you were fixing your mind in a certain shape or way. It's just you, as you stand in that openness, then it's a reflection, a true reflection. I hope that makes sense. You know, it's a true reflection of your own being. So for me, it's not about manifesting anything. It's about clearing away the illusions of the mind and clearing away the blockages. You don't even have to make it happen. You just have to clear the stuff away so that your soul can just be free. Because from that place, everything aligns spontaneously, naturally, way beyond what you can think and imagine and even imagine. I look at some of the things that happened in my life, some of the things I wanted 5, 10, 20, 15, 20 years ago, and I really wanted them back then. And I look here now and go, wow, I'm so glad some of those things didn't happen, because number one, it wasn't really what I wanted. I wouldn't have been fulfilled. I would have been screwed. I would have been a mess. I wouldn't have been able to handle it. And it's not really what I wanted, And I'm like, wow, thank you. So sometimes things not manifesting based on who we were at that time is actually just nothing other than the love and the grace of God, the love and the grace of the universe saying, I love you. This isn't aligned, but we thought we wanted it. And I really thought I wanted it. And so I look back now and I think of everything that's unfolded since I've been even in the US and go, wow, I really couldn't have planned exactly where I am. Yes, a sense, but I couldn't have really made it up. Some of the amazing experiences and people and situations that I had no concept. So my prayer right now is less about, and I invite those listening, is less about, let me make this happen and this and that. And they're all great, and sometimes we feel a vision based on what's seeking to come through us, and we can hold that vision, but not from the outside, but from the inside. But my prayer more now, and what I invite is, to me, the most powerful prayer for success and manifestation, if anyone's listening, I don't know if anyone wants to know, but the most powerful mantra for success is simply, I surrender. That's what I found after trying everything. I surrender. I surrender. Like truly, I surrender. Then we activate a miracle consciousness. Then we go into a zone that's beyond the mind, because then we tap into the intelligence of the infinite itself. And that intelligence is working on our behalf in ways we could never figure out on our own.
That's beautiful, and I love your idea about surrendering, because I think that's what I've found too. Is that I'm focusing on the positivity, right? I'm using the I am statements and the really powerful. This is who I am. This is who I choose to be, and this is how I choose to move my life forward. But I think that kind of surrender mentality is it just takes it to the next level. It's saying, you know what? I'm not going to be afraid of what I don't know. I'm going to be willing to surrender to that kind of higher self, that kind of higher purpose, and move into that without fear, and move just into that pure state of love. And I think that's so powerful.